Hi friends, welcome back to Chicken Run Creations. I am Dawn. If you are new here, I do needle felting, and it's been a hot minute since I've done a video. I have just been terribly busy between getting ready for a couple classes I had to do, and I've had a couple orders, and I've been wanting to do a video for 2 weeks now, and we're going to start one today because I had done this little bunny in a pot like this one and posted it up on Facebook, and not only did it sell, but I was asked if I could do a tutorial for one. So we are going to attempt that. Every time I make something, the second time I make it, as you know, it comes out nothing like the first time. So we're going to give it a try. This is actually an order, so I kind of have to get it done, and we're going to give it a shot here. So let me show you what we're going to need. First, I have this cute little metal tin, and I cannot tell you where to get one because I found this at a Goodwill store. I found 2 of them, and I have looked high and low to try and find more and have not gotten any. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 inches wide at the top here. And it's about 3 inches tall. So that'll give you an idea of what we're working with here. So if you can find one, awesome. If you can find some and send me a link, that would be even better, because I would really like to make more of these out of different characters, not just a little bunny rabbit. So yeah, if you have a link to finding some, it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like this, but little metal tins like this would be awesome, and colored too. I found some that are just plain, you know, silver, whatever, and they would work, but I like the colored ones. So you need something. It could be a teacup, it could be a plastic tub, pretty much whatever you can use to fit a little bunny in. And we're actually only doing the head and the feet. We're not even doing the whole body on this, so it's pretty simple. Well, it's simple as long as my head comes out. So anyway, so you're going to need something to put your little bunny into. Now, because we have this huge space here to fill, I am going to show you a trick. And we are going to use, if you can see that, sorry the glare of my light there, but we're going to use bits and bobs of pieces that I have like did stuff with and then didn't like it, or just little pieces of fluff and stuff to fill this. So it saves on having to fill this whole thing with core wool. You're going to need some core wool. So I have here, this is a bat of core wool, and this is really thin, so I'm not a huge fan of it. It's by Walking Palm. They're on Amazon and on Etsy, but it's good for wrapping stuff in. So I'm going to use it to fill for my tub there. And then I'm going to use for my head, I'm going to use some Corriedale slivers that I get from Cupid Falls Farms. So that will be for the head. And then we're going to need, I'm using this mouse color from Cupid Falls Farm to cover my bunny with. And I'm hoping I have enough here. I just ordered more. It's been on back order for like 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that I have enough here that I don't have to wait for my order to come in to finish it, since it's only the head and the feet. Hopefully I have enough here. You're also going to need some, I use some blue. I don't have it out yet, so I'll show it to you when I get it. For the water, we're just going to, once we get the this filled up, I just put a blue coat on top, and then I use just some white, bright white, if I can find some here. Just some bright white bat that I use to make bubbles with. And then if you're really creative and want to make a little rubber ducky, you can use whatever color you want for that, which I will probably be doing. Also some black for the I used glass eyes for this, but you'll need some black to do the mouth and the corners of the eyes. And maybe a little bit of pink for inside the ears. I'm just looking at my picture here. I think, and then something for your whiskers. I use beading wire. You can use horsehair, whatever you happen to have on hand. If I remember to put them in, I totally forgot to put them in on the order I had and had to send the wire to the poor lady, but she was perfectly fine with it. So anyway, we're going to start by filling this up, and to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this. Yeah, see, this is not the best. I'm really kind of disappointed. This wool, this order that I got was not as good as some of the other orders that I have gotten from them, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. Now I have just this really thin strip here. Let's see what I can figure out. Maybe I have enough here that I can figure out what to do here. Let's see. I just need to make like a little, we're going to make just like a little pouch here that we can fill in with some of these pieces. So I'm just going to pull out a bunch of my bits and pieces here. Most of this is kind of, well, I have some bigger pieces, but I don't think I'm going to use those because I don't want it to be too hard to felt down. So see, I have, you know, this, I don't know what some of these are from, but you know, they started out and didn't work the way I wanted them to, so I just throw them into the jar, and then when I have a big item to fill like this, or want to make a dryer ball, this works really good. So I'm just gonna kind of, this might not be enough. Actually, let me kind of put it in here. Well, it might be good. It'll come down a little bit, but I can add a little bit more if I need to. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And then I'm just going to take this bat and just kind of pull it up and around. So the only thing that's going to be seen on this is the very top, because the rest of it's going to be stuck down underneath, and I'm going to glue it in place. Let me get my needles here. I have a 36 triangle here. So I'm just going to kind of just stab it here to get it to hold down a little bit. And then I'm going to take this side and just kind of pull it up and over. Actually, let me grab my multi-tool here. And just, all I'm doing is just getting it to hold here. I've had quite a few projects going on. I've been working on some Easter eggs for a class next month, and in another class I'm going to do a 2D painting of a little sheep, which maybe we'll do some videos for those later on. Alright, let me go back to my 36 here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to stick this in here and just kind of see how it sits. Now I want to definitely kind of felt this down a little bit, so it looks like it'll fit pretty good. So I'm just going to take my 36 needle and I'm just going to like just stab all around it. I don't know, maybe my other multi-tool, let's see if this will go in it. I think these are 38 needles. Yeah, they're going in. Sometimes they don't always go in, but I think there's enough loose stuff in there that it'll work for a little bit here. So hopefully I'm staying on camera for you. I will probably, you can see some of it's kind of the colors poking through, but that's okay because like I said, that's going to be hiding inside the pot, and nobody's going to see it because it's going to be all glued down there. So it's only the top layer that's going to be seen, and we're going to cover that with blue. So I might take a little bit and just kind of wrap those ends up a little bit here. So see if I can get something going here. So I'm just going to come around like this. So what I'm going to do, this is going to take me a bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on felting this down a bit. And I don't know, do you want to watch it all? Probably not. I'm just going to like spend some time combining this part here. And once I have it somewhat worked down, I'll come back and I will show you how I'm going to kind of mold it into the pot. But let me take a few minutes here and kind of get this worked down a little bit more so it's not quite so fluffy, and we'll go from there. Okay, so it's still pretty squishy, but and I haven't done a lot down here at the bottom, if you can see that. Let me move this out of the way here. It's still very squishy. I can still work it a little bit more, but you know, I'm mostly interested in the top since this part's not going to ever be seen and it's going to be glued into the base. So I'm not too worried about this. As long as the top is fairly firm that I can attach my top coat to, I think we're going to be okay. So let me stick this back in here now. And notice, let me kind of give it some stabs here. I'm not going to glue it in yet. I'm going to wait until I get everything on before I glue it in. But if you notice, it's kind of lower down here. I want it to be all flat across the top. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of this core, and I'm just going to kind of fill the sides in a little bit. Now you want to be careful when you're stabbing inside the pot that you're really careful when you're going around by the metal part, because you don't want to break your needles. And I'm still using my I think the 238 needles that I have. And I want this because it's supposed to be like water, so it would be all the same height all the way across. So I'm just going to kind of fill in where it's a little low on the two sides here. And we'll just give it kind of a little more overall felt here. I don't really want it to be like totally flat because, I mean, there's no real need to it because we're going to add some bubbles on the top. So just firm enough so that I can attach my top coat. That looks pretty good. So I have it so it's like pretty close to the top. Could be down a little bit, and it might come down a little bit more as we felt a little bit more, but I think that's good. So now I'm going to take it out, and I have this blue. I don't know the color. I don't have my thing here, but I'm pretty sure that this blue is from Gray Fox Felting, so you can check out her page there. I think I have a link down below. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this blue and lay it across the top. It's really thin, so I'm just going to kind of lay it here. And this will be our water. So I'm just going to kind of do that, and then what I'll do is I'll go back through and fill in any gaps that there might be, but I'm just gonna tack all this down here. I like this color because it's, I don't know how well you can see it in the camera, but it's got some purples and different color blues. It's a really pretty blue. So you can see on the edges here I'm a little sparse, but we'll take care of that in a second. So just gonna go around and tack it. And we'll add some more here where we're light. And I don't want to do a lot of stabbing outside the pot because I don't want it to mess up the shape. So all I'm doing is just doing enough here to get it attached. And then I'll put it back in the pot. This side. And I can probably even get away with not doing this because our white bubbles will kind of cover that up, but we'll get it all covered. All right, so I'm going to take a minute and just work these sides here. Make sure they're good and secure. And we're going to pop it back into our tub. So the bunny's going to be laying with his head here, his feet down here. So the handles will be on the side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and get this felted in, and again be really careful as you're going around the outer edge. I'm kind of going at an angle around the edge here so I don't go straight in and break my needles. I did manage to make the other one without a broken needle. I want to kind of keep pushing it down because I don't want it to be up above the surface, because I mean obviously water isn't going to be above the surface of your pot, so make sure I keep it squished down. Get a little bit of weight there, but either his head or his feet are going to be there, so I'm not too concerned about that. I don't know if I did too much felting yesterday. My shoulder's really bothering me today, if I just slept wrong. I was felting out in the living room in my chair while we watched the Super Bowl last night, so I find that I can't always sit out there and felt. It bothers my arm sometimes. I love this color. Probably can't. Camera probably doesn't do justice. I'm going to switch over to my 40 spiral needles here. Get this a little smoother. Just want to have a good surface to attach our bubbles to. So one tip for when you're trying to get a smooth surface is to go at an angle. So you can see here I'm going in and out at a 45-degree angle. And what I like to do is I just kind of like to go back and forth across the surface. See how I'm just going back and forth. And as I do that, I get a smoother finish than if I stab straight in and out. And I turn it, go around the edge here a little bit. And I'm not sure if you can really see that on camera, but I can see there's like, I can tell where I just did, and then it looks like there's like little air pockets in here. So by just kind of doing the next section, go at a 45-degree angle, just kind of go back and forth as I go down, and that kind of gets rid of those little air pockets. And I still have some like right around the edges here, but that's okay. You have to be careful too, because if you start working like along here, the sun pops up. So I just kind of keep pushing it down. So move to the next section, and I'm using my needles so you can see them. I'm not doing them this way, I'm doing them this way. So they're going in horizontally towards each other, I guess. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Alrighty, so now we are going to tackle his head and see if I can make another one that's kind of like the first one I did. Okay, let's see if I can remember how I did his head here. I wish I had the other one still here that I could compare it to, but I don't. So I'm looking to make I don't want to make a ball per se, and I kind of want the back end to be a little bit wider than the front. So I'm just tucking this one side in here as I roll it up. We'll see how this looks. So I get it this other way. So I'm using my 36 triangle here, and I'm just getting a real basic shape for his head. Now let me gotta bring up another picture here on my computer. So I'm just rounding, so this is the back of his head, so I'm just kind of rounding that off a little bit. And then I'm gonna kind of go up here in the front. Well, it's not gonna look like much of anything to start. If this is even the way that I did it, I don't even remember, to be totally honest. I really should start filming all my makes so that I can go back and watch them, especially when I want to repeat it. But I need to find another way to do that and not tie up my phone, because then I don't get any calls or texts if my phone is in use. And not that I get very many calls or texts, but I do like to be available if somebody needs me, so I need to work out a different way of filming that won't cost me a small fortune in like buying a camera right now, because I'm not to that point that I can do that. However, I gotta say, as of right before filming this, I was at 997 subscribers. I am extremely excited to almost hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. I am way far away from actually getting paid from YouTube, however, because my watch hours are not anywhere near close enough. But I have my subscribers, so thank you for all of you who have subscribed. I greatly appreciate that. All right, so we're kind of getting a bunny head shape here. Might be too long. My daughter is upstairs playing with my grandchildren. They're not here, they're playing virtually with my daughter, so I keep hearing her making weird noises while she plays with them. All right, let's see. I don't know, that might be kind of too wide. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I have some bunny pictures here. I should pull them out because I used them when I made the last one. I just printed off some pictures that I referenced. Let's see which ones I was using here. Okay. All right. So let me see here. I think that's size-wise good. So I'm gonna bring up my, yeah, it might be a little too wide, but this is the basic premise of it. So I think I need to squish it down a little bit here. Let me see if I can do that. So if you need to squish something down, see how I'm pushing down on it, and I'm taking my needle and pushing it down into the base part of it. I don't know how well you can see that. That can kind of help you to, if you have something that's too long, squish it down a little bit. And I'm really kind of forcing it down, so. All right, let me kind of look at this here and see. I think that'll work. So I'm just kind of looking to see where I want to put his eyes, which I need to get out. Hopefully I still have some. So I think his eyes are gonna go about here. I'm just gonna kind of mark the other side. I'm using glass eyes. Might need to go a little bit wider before I put them in. Just kind of gauging here. So we're still just working with the core wool. All right, let me go dig out some eyes. All right, so I cannot tell you what size eyes these are. I don't know if I have a ruler handy here. I don't. They're a little over 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, well, they're more than that. 1, 2, like 3/8 of an inch. I don't know what that translates into millimeters, because that's usually how they are. When I got them, I didn't label my box, so I think I need to bring the side out a little bit more. So I'm just gonna take just a little bit more wool here and just build up the side a little bit. Rabbits have a pretty wide space between their eyes. So if you get them too close together, they just don't look quite right. So I'm just gonna kind of expand the outsides of this a little bit. I think we have a good length. We just need to add more on the outside. And always work in little bits at a time, because you can always add more. It's harder to take away. So it's kind of interesting. I've been watching a few videos recently, and there's 2 schools of thought as to when you put your eyes in. One video that I was watching, they say, oh, don't put your eyes in until you get it really firm. And then another video I watched, she puts her eyes in when it's really quite soft. So it's kind of interesting the different perspective that people have on their felting process, and there honestly is no right or wrong. It's pretty much what you think works best for you. I don't know, I'm kind of in between on the camps of when to put it in. Sometimes I wait till I have it well felted, sometimes I put it in earlier. So all I'm doing is just kind of poking where I think the eyes are going to go. I think that's better. Okay, let's see. I just have an awl here, and I'm just going to poke a hole, kind of move it around a little bit to get a good hole. And I'm going to stick these in, but I'm not going to glue them yet. I just want to stick them in and see how they look. Okay. So I have, well, I don't have them lined up quite right. Actually, actually think I want to go kind of back a little bit. That might be too much. Oops. Stick into my thumb. Okay. These eyes might be a little bit bigger than what I used last time. I need to order more eyes. Okay. I don't think that's too bad. So this front here, though, I have too much here in the front. All right, let's see if we can work with it. Let's see. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so now bunnies have like really poofy cheeks here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make some little pillows here, and I'm just taking some wool. Let's see if I want to go roll another. Not quite that much. And I'm just gonna run this right along underneath his eyes. So it's gonna take a few passes doing this to kind of build up underneath his eye, his cheeks here. Now you could totally felt this part first and then attach it. And I'm going to work both sides at the same time. Try not to add any more to the front if I can help it, because I don't want it to get any longer. Let's do a smaller part. So I'm just going to kind of roll this up a little bit here. Put it down. I want more of the cheek to be back by the eye and not so much up in the front here. There, I like that better. Guess we're gonna do the same thing here. Just kind of roll up a little pillow. And I'm looking at it, and this part is thinner, and this part's a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna make that thinner part towards the front. So I'm not looking for a totally realistic bunny here. He's kind of a cutesy bunny. Okay, I think that needs to be up a little bit higher. need a little bit more. Maybe too much. Just remember, it always looks worse before it looks better. Always got to keep that in mind. And no two are going to look alike. They're always going to be a little different. I have a little bit more wool on this side than I did the other side. A little bigger, but I think I like that better. So I'm going to add a little bit more on the other side here. Always comparing the two sides, just going back and forth and making sure that they look the same. Still need a little bit more on this side over here. Okay, so rabbits have a pretty high forehead, so I'm going to see here. Gonna build up. I don't want to build too much up down here because it's pretty wide already. So I'm just gonna add a bit of a pillow on the top of his head. I feel like my last bunny that I did went a whole lot quicker than this one's going. But I also had something there to compare it to, which makes it easier. Plus I had just made the other one, so okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm noticing that this cheek is higher than this cheek here. So I think I'm going to add a little bit. See if I can work this little piece in here. Just along under his eye. See how that goes. We still have to do like their eyelids and stuff, so that'll add more to it as well. You want to be careful as you're working around the eye that you don't poke it. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're stabbing. Yeah, it needs a little bit more. Just under there. Okay. Now his cheek's a little bit bigger than this one. Guys, you just keep going. Just keep building it up. Right, I'm gonna compare them to my thing here. It's not too bad. I still think is a little too wide, too long here. Let me see if I can kind of squish it back a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of go around the eye a little bit because rabbits have like an almond shaped eye, and I'm just going around that. Just to kind of define it a little bit. And I want to kind of bring this in a little bit here, down to where his nose goes. Since his nose is going to go right in here. I'm going to move down to my 38 needle. Okay, I'm going to mark out where I want his mouth to go. And I'm just doing a simple V here. And then his nose is going to go up here. So I'm going to just see if I can smooth this part out just a little bit here. There, I like that better. Okay. So his head needs to go up a little bit more, but I think that's looking a lot better. So it's still a little bit bigger than that side. Decide if I want to, which side I like better. I almost think I need to add more down there. A bit more. Still feel like I have more on this side than I do on this side. I don't want to go too big. I'll end up being more on that side than the other side. Story of my life. I just do like this. This is probably because I'm doing this on camera. If I were doing it, not filming it, I'd probably be going along a whole lot smoother. Okay. There, I like that better. All right. It's got a pretty big nose here. Trying to remember, I think when I did the last one, trying to think if I did white around here. I think I did. I mean, I did a white around the outside of the eye, but I'm trying to remember if I did a white underneath here or not. I have to go back and look at my phone and see if I have any pictures. This eye needs to go in a little bit further. Okay. I'm not too worried about this head yet because we still got to add his ears and stuff, so he looks like he's a little top heavy, but we'll add more down on the side. Okay, I think I'm happy with his cheeks there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue in his eyes next. But do I want to put white first? Let me go and check and see if I have a picture. Okay, I couldn't really tell from my pictures. So I think what I'm going to do is, I mean, you're not really going to see it, but I have some bright white here. And all I'm going to do before I glue it in is I'm just going to put it around my eyes. When I get this done, and you see I probably didn't even need to do this, but just in case, and I'm doing it before, I mean, is this even my bright white? Yeah, it is. It's not too much different than the core. The reason I'm putting it in here while the eye's still in is because I have a habit of, if I take the eye out and put it in, I end up losing my hole for my eye. So I'm gonna leave my eye in and just put some white around it. I don't even know if this is the white. This might actually be core. Where is my white? I was just using it. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I guess it is my white. Usually it's a lot brighter than the core is, but apparently not this. Alright, so one side. Do on the other side. Like I said, you're probably not even going to see this because we're going to outline it in a, I don't know what I used, a lighter brown color. But it's there. Not that you can tell. Okay. Alright, let's glue these eyes in. So I just have... This is just an all-purpose glue I use for my card making. And hopefully I can get the glue out. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, maybe not. I have to clean that out, I guess. Alright, hold on, let's get a different glue. Alright, that's some good old Aleene's tacky glue here. So I'm just putting a little bit on the post and sticking it in. And we'll be felting around the eye too, and that'll help to hold it in as well. I need to get some... I don't know what happened to the lid to this one, so I just had a pin sticking in it. Alright, see if I can get it in. Sometimes I take them out and can't get them back in. Alright, that away. Get that back in there. Okay, the eyes are in. Now, just kind of tacking that white down a little bit. Okay, next we're going to, I think we're going to do the white. So I made around his mouth white. So I'm just going to take this white that I have that really looks a lot like the core, and I'm going to just build up his little muzzle here a little bit. I'll leave the where I have the nose and mouth marked, and just kind of adding right along here. Probably should get the pink out for his nose and get that in. And you can make this as big as you want. Sometimes they're really kind of cute, nice and big. And I'm going to bring it down. In fact, where's my marker? So I kind of have it so it comes down along here like that. Yeah, just to kind of mark it where I want the white to go. I can go a little bit higher here. And then his mouth will be white too. So I'm just gonna probably build on this a little bit more. I think one of them, I brought it back a little bit further. I'll do the other side. I'm gonna make sure that this is really clean when you're putting it on. I got some vegetative stuff in this one. Not sure where I got this weight from. Might have been Lion Gate Farms, I'm not sure. I'm really bad at keeping my stuff labeled, guys. There's his mouth. So I'll probably have to come back and touch the white up a little bit once we get the brown on. Okay, not that you can really tell the difference. Okay, we'll do his little mouth. So I'm just going to take some of this white and I'm going to fold it in half and tap it down a little bit here, and then I'm just going to kind of fold in the sides to kind of give it a rounded shape. Turn it around. I'm using my 38 needle. Okay, I'm going to switch down to my 40 spiral here. Is that my 40? Nope, that's not my 40. This is my 40. Okay, I'm going to take and see how I have his mouth drawn there. I'm just going to take this and stick it in there. Now you could leave it open a little bit, like put a little pink tongue. I've seen that, but I didn't do that for mine. So I'm just going to run that right along there to define his mouth. But this process just always amazes me how much it really just adds to the character of the bunny. Or a lot of your little characters have this little mouth like this, and it just put it on. It's like just really adds to it. Let's get that in there nice and firm. There, can you see that? He's looking like a bunny. See, never give up. Just keep plugging away. So we'll put black in here, but I'm gonna not do that yet. What I am gonna do though is go and dig out my pink that I want to use for his nose. You can make his nose a color other than pink. It can be brown or whatever, but I like the pink. So this is Candy Floss from Cupid Falls Farms. And I'm just going to get a little bit here and just kind of poke it into where his nose is. And we're just making a triangle. I don't want it to go too high up. I got a little piece of black in there. My daughter must be having a good time with her niece and or nephew, whoever she's playing with, because she's going to town up there. I don't know if you can hear her or not. They must be having fun. I don't know if they're playing Minecraft or what they're playing, but they got something going up there. I think this is a little brighter pink than what I used on the other one. I can't remember. Gonna make sure that it's even on both sides. Need to add a little bit more over here. Okay, it's pretty good. Might adjust that a little bit as we get going here, but we'll see. Okay, move the pink aside, and let's get our brown out here. My only concern is if I have enough to do the ears and the feet. Hopefully. All right, I'm gonna start, get that out of the way, with doing his eyes. So I'm not gonna probably use all of this. I'm gonna do his upper eyelid, and these always give me grief, so bear with me. I'm gonna pull this in half, I think, because I don't want it to be too big. I want it to be pretty close to the same size. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brush here. Let me get him out of the way. And I'm going to put both of these on here. I'm going to use my multi-tool and just start to flatten them down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to, let me think about this here. I'm going to fold it. No, I'm going to fold the ends in first, I think. So I'm going to fold in one side. I'm going to fold in the other side. I'm going to do the same on this one, and I'm going to try and keep them the same size. Inevitably, I always end up with one eyelid bigger than the other. Fold this side in. Okay, this one's a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to fold it in half like this. And get this one up. Do the same on this side. I'm mostly concerned that the width is about the same on them. I don't really care about the height, because this part's going to be along the eye and this part's going to be felted in. So, all right, I'm going to pull those off, and I'm just going to take, let's see how close we are. Pretty close. So I'm going to take a minute and just using my 40 spiral, I'm going to felt this down a little bit, mostly along the edge here. I'm not too worried about the top part of the fluffy part. Just a real shallow poke. I'm trying not to poke it into my felt. When you're going to, because it's really thin, but just to kind of get it nice and hard. So guys, I'm really excited to tell you that my first kit is now available on my website, chickenruncreations.com. I made a little penguin, and I also have a beginner kit if you like have no supplies whatsoever. My beginner kit will give you a foam pad, it'll give you needles, it'll give you finger guards, some basic instructions, and it seems like there was something else and I don't remember what. And then you can buy my kit for making 2 little penguins, and if I think of it, I'll try and do a little video to reveal it at some point this week if I have a chance. You can hop over to my Facebook page, Chicken Run Creations NF, and I did a video over there. Alright, just gonna kind of poke the ends in here a little bit. We'll get more of that when we actually put it on the eye, so I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it, I'm going to go straight back from where his nose is and trying to center it on the eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke in the end here and poke in the back here. And then I'm just going to kind of go up and follow his eye. See that? Be careful as you're poking because you can hit the post for the eyes. And I'm going to do the other side because I always got to do them together. So from his nose, just draw an imaginary line from his nose straight back. Again, if you've been watching my videos, you know I have a harder time doing this side. Never fails. So I'm going to poke that side. And then poke that side, and I'm just going to go right around his eye. Poking it in really good. I'll just dump the rest of that fluff down here. That'll kind of add to his forehead too. Okay, so now here comes the secret. I'm just going to bring this in just a little bit closer. And I want to get this pretty hard up here. Well, pretty felted in up here before I start the next part. Okay, so I'm going to take and just very gently poke into that eyelid and start to reveal his eye. They don't really have a lot of an eyelid. The pictures that I've seen don't show like a whole lot of eyelid, but this just kind of adds to the depth over the eye. And I'm bringing this right up and over the eye. So we're going to take a lighter tan and we're going to outline this eye with that. So I'm exposing his entire eye. Okay, you see that? And I'm just going to poke right down in there. Like that. Alright, let's do the other side. Make sure this is nice and firm. Okay, I'll start, bring this down a little bit more. I'll start poking in. Just be careful as you're poking that you don't hit your eye. So I'm poking right into the lid that we made. And as I poke, it pushes it up, because your wool is always going to go in the direction that you poke. Just go right around the edge there to poke it into above the eye. Now, this eye is looking a little mad. Not too bad here. The first one that I made, he looked like he was mad at the world, but we'll kind of work with that. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom part of his eye. So I'm going to do, I'm trying to think if I made an actual eyelid for the bottom or not. Let me think here. Or if I just want to put my wool in. Let's just felt these down a little bit here. I'm just going to fold these in half. That one's a little thicker than this one is. All right. So now I'm just going to take this just kind of match up where the bottom is there and over here. Here, I think that's my folded side. Do the same on this side. Okay, and basically the same thing here. I'm just tapping his lower eyelid in. Again, I want it to be his whole eye exposed. And then we'll smooth this all down here. And same on this side, if I can work on this side. This is a little thinner, so I might need to add a little bit more over here. Yeah, let me add just a little bit more. Actually, let me do a little felting here first. Because it was so thin, just add a little bit on top of it. that's really messy. Okay. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now, because our eyes are round and rabbits have more almond-shaped eyes, I'm just going to take a little bit of black. I'm going to put it in the corners of both sides of the eye, and that'll kind of change the shape. Yeah, I don't want white in there. It'll kind of change the shape of it a little bit. So I'm just going to stick some black here in the corner and try and make it look triangular. If you can see that. I want it to, you know, kind of look kind of natural. So that if you're looking at it, it looks like he's got a almond-shaped eye. So one side. And do the back. And that like totally changes the appearance of the eye. There, like that. So let's do the other side now. So this has a little bit more white showing, but I think maybe once we get this in here, it won't be. You totally could do his eyes all in wool. But I thought, yeah, usually I do, but I thought it would be kind of take the cheaters away this time and do it with glass eyes. Okay, that really makes the character, doesn't it? Okay, now I'm going to. I gotta get some light brown out. I don't have any here. Let's kind of finish the front of his face here. So I'm gonna take some of this brown and do right by his nose. What I like to do is try and poke this in right along the edge of the pink. I can. And kind of fold it back. So you can see I'm folding the brown back a little bit. Try and make sure none of the white shows. Alright, we're just going to kind of fill in here. So I got some of this kind of going beyond where I want it to go, so just going to pull that out a little bit. Now you can make the white come up as far as you want. Make sure I don't cover up that black. Now, because we're not doing like a totally realistic bunny, it's okay if the proportions are off a little bit. It just adds to the character. It's like his nose here's kind of bugging me. I think I can do some poking here. Kind of bring that in a little bit. I think I might bring the pink up just a little bit more. And that'll kind of cover the white there too. You can kind of make the pink kind of disappear into the brown too. Could make the nose stick out a little bit. So his profile's a little wonky here. When I look at the profile, it almost like he needs to come out a little bit more. Let me make his nose a little bit more prominent here. I think I'm gonna make his muzzle come out a little bit more too. So one thing I always kind of forget to look at is to look at it from all angles instead of just the front. Because what looks right one way, when you look at it at a different angle, it's like, yeah, that doesn't look right. It's got a pretty big nose. Okay. I think just kind of looking at the shape of my white here. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. So you can always manipulate your wool a little bit with your needle, just be really careful. This side's a little bit higher than this side is. So where's my white here? So I'm going to poof out this muzzle here a little bit more. You can make this as big as you want. I might need to bring his bottom lip out a little bit more too, we'll see. You could like totally do this little guy in an Easter basket. And have his body buried in like Easter grass maybe. If you can't find a tub. I was looking for little Easter baskets when I was out shopping Friday, but I didn't find any that I liked. All right, I think I'm happy with that. This nose here is still bugging me a little bit. Okay. All right, let's put some lines here. I'm just taking, use my bigger needle, a little bit of black, just going right along his mouth line. You could use a brown. Where's my scissors? Let's trim this off a little bit here. And get just a little bit here. I'm going to just outline the bottom part of his nose. I'm not going to go across the top. And just a tiny piece to connect the two. That's way bigger than I need, but I'll trim it off. Okay, you see that? All right. He came out much better than I thought he would. Yeah, it's cute. I think I might need to bring his bottom jaw up a little bit. Let's see. All right, let's compare. Let's put him in our tub here and see how he's looking. He's a little bit fatter in the cheeks than the first one I did, but I think he looks pretty good. I do need to bring out the side of the back of his head a little bit, but his ears got to go on too, so that's going to kind of help with that somewhat. So I think I'm going to stop here and pick it up next time, and we will do his ears and his feet and show you how I do the bubbles. So this way I can get this up. So until next time, I hope that you have yourself a good afternoon. Thanks for watching.